It's like they know when I turn on the camera and they're like, this is the prime time to take a dump. And then spend like 5 to 10 minutes playing with the litter. I will not begrudge them their healthy bowel movements. Anyway, hi, how are you? I hope you're good. I am here today with my autumnal self-care package book haul, or just like preparing for autumn book haul. Anyway, I got some books. I feel like overall it fits into autumn vibes. You know, it's moody outside, it's cold, you're under a blanket, you want some spooky, you want some cozy, you want some hocus pocus vibes. Kind of. And then some of them are just completely not there. We're gonna go with it. I feel like I don't have a proper order to go by, so I'm just gonna start. So from the section of buy one get one half price, I have 4 of them because of course I couldn't just get 3. So this is a take on 1984. It's called 1984 Julia. Fun fact about me, no matter the fact that speculative sci-fi is my absolute favorite genre, I actually have not read 1984. It almost sounds like it has that type of Adam Douglas or Terry Pratchett or Jasper Fforde tone to it, mainly for how the departments are called. So on the back it says, Julia works in the fiction department and the Ministry of Truth. She knows how to survive life under the iron rule of the party and its leader, Big Brother, a world of constant surveillance. Doublethink and thought crime. Those are like 2 also departments. But this seemed to be a little tale of descent into madness and of course the mass surveillance of everyone and everything and questioning the system and Big Brother-esque, as we already heard. So I've never heard of it until I just browsed it and I saw it in the bookstore. So if you have read it, let me know, because this sounds like it could be great, but it is a risk because I genuinely had not known anything about it before I picked it up. Jumping to something very different. This one is called The Blanket Cats, and of course I picked it up because it had a blanket and a cat, and I am a feline enthusiast, as you may know. Again, another one that I have not heard anything about, but the premise seems like there is this, I'm hesitant to say pet store. It's like a rental, I'm not quite sure, that gives out these cats that are meant to bring you happiness in 3 days. The catch is that you always have to bring their blanket with them and they have to sleep with this blanket, like not the people, the cats. And then after 3 days, you're meant to return them. I think we're gonna have 7 different life stories from different perspectives. I think there's one couple who are struggling with infertility. There's another one, just different circumstances, seeking joy and how they want to achieve that by gambling with this cat magic, I guess. There's a middle-aged woman in trouble with the police. I think this cat, of course, is going to be a tool for us to talk about completely different scenarios and how people find themselves in situations where they are seeking joy through means such as this as well. It sounds like it's a short story collection almost. I'm not quite sure if it's gonna be related, other than the fact that, of course, we have the cat and the blanket thing. It sounds a little bit like it could be similar to When the Coffee Gets Cold. Some of the stories there, again, we were connected by the cafe, but all of the stories were quite separate. Some of them were better than others, and, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the case here. But the writing style for that one wasn't my favorite, so this is just my attempt at, like, the second one, and also there's, like, you know, more prominent cats, so I'm very excited about that as well. It has the sandy hardback, if you're interested in that. It sounds like a perfect rainy day read as well, so I'm quite happy to have that for when I need it. This next book was actually the reason I went to the bookstore. I wanted to pick up ReWitched, which is actually written by Lucy, who is also here on YouTube. The way that this has been pitched from the very beginning really spoke to me. It's all of that 90s magic and nostalgia, kind of practical magic vibes as well. So I'm very excited. This one is another one that is screaming a cozy weekend, which I'm really gearing up for it, clearly, with this whole. And overall, I think this is just about finding that joyful spark within yourself when you feel like you've kind of lost your magic. So really have high hopes for this, which is obviously always a danger, but I have also seen a lot of you guys read this already, so please let me know if you have read it and what you thought. It has cute end papers and blue hardback. Now this sounds like a bite-size made specifically for me. It just sounds absolutely amazing. Again, I haven't heard it. This is from the half, you know, buy one get another half what price table. It's called Orbital, and it is about astronauts who are in orbit looking down at Earth, but they still, you know, being separate from Earth, but still getting news of the happenings on Earth and raising all of those philosophical questions about how it is to live so far away from Earth and from the rest of the humanity, the fragility of human life, the feelings of being so protective of something that you can see out the window. You know, they're collecting, I think they are collecting data, meteorological data to conduct scientific experiments. But overall, I'm assuming it's going to be quite thought-provoking, and it seems like, you know, again, a bite-sized thing, and to me, it reads a little bit like Becky Chamber-esque, and you know I am all for that, so I'm actually very excited with this find. I'll get back to you. I'm hoping to get to this quite soon. I'll get back to you if this is good or it's better than it sounds like it'll be. Now this is another one there with the with that table. I obviously picked it up because of the cover. It is very eye-catching. It gives you toothache looking at it, so of course I wanted to check out what this is, and also I had a feeling, you know, it was really kind of silly whimsy type of thing. I love the hook as well. This is the first magical book in a best-selling duology for anyone exhausted from the reality of their daily life. If a hook has ever spoken to me more than this, I probably don't remember it. The Dream You Ordered is sold out. It is Korean #1 bestseller. I'm assuming it's also by a Korean author. This I want to say is Japanese, and this one is perhaps Korean. Japanese I've read quite a lot of, but Korean maybe not so much, so that's actually also quite exciting. Very snazzy end papers even as well. But this is about a town that is only accessible through this specific weird, quirky corner of our subconsciousness collectively. It's about a department that sells dreams, and we're following a new hire who then gets to know a lot of other weird, quirky characters. And day and night we get different visitors after for different dreams. And I'm not quite sure what the plot is or if there is one, but I'm also very excited to delve into this. This sounds like a fever dream, and I'm kind of here for it. A little non-committal exploration of human psyche. I love that. It, again, sounds like it'll have that type of Douglas Adams quirkiness, and that to me, you know, a lot of the time is a hit. Sometimes it's a big miss, so it's always a little bit of a risk for me taking that up because I don't like when it goes overboard, and I feel like with that kind of style it's very easy to go overboard, but I will report back. And if you have read this, please let me know. It does say best-selling, but again, I might just be living under a rock, honestly, I don't know. Okay, the last one from the sticker fam. This is Rouge, as the cover would also suggest, and it is by Mona Awad. I'm not actually quite sure how to pronounce their name, but this is the author of Bunny, which has become one of my all-time favorite reads very unexpectedly. I mean, I did expect to like it, but I didn't expect to be so intrigued by it throughout. It was a really, really fun, different, weird read. I think everyone will agree that it is definitely a weird read. It sounds like another obsessive type of story. It says, for as long as she can remember, Belle has been obsessed with her skin and skincare videos. When her estranged mother, Noelle, mysteriously dies, Belle finds herself back in California dealing with her mother's death and grappling with lingering questions about her death. I'm reading the synopsis with you because I actually picked it up based on the author's name rather than actually looking what it is about. I do remember looking slightly and just seeing skin and skincare, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of already into the premise. The stakes escalate when a strange woman in red appears at the funeral, offering a tantalizing clue about her mother's demise, followed by a cryptic video about a transformative spy experience. With the help of a pair of red shoes, Belle is lured into the barbed embrace of, Le Maison de Méduse? The same lavish, culty spa to which her mother was devoted. There, Belle discovers the frightening secret about her, behind her and her mother's obsession with the mirror and the great shimmering depths and demons that lurk on the other side of the glass. With black humor and seductive horror, Rouge explores the cult-like nature of the beauty industry and the dangers of internalizing its pitiless gaze. So down for it. Extremely promising premise. I still have All Too Well to read by this author. So and also autumn or even maybe winter seems like the perfect time for it. I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason behind it, because obviously you can read it whenever, but it seems fitting. So very excited about that. Then more stickers. Dear God, this one has 2 real stickers and 1 fake one. A lot going on. This one's called Scripted, and it just caught my eye. A woman who lives with his boyfriend, and the relationship is a little bit up and down, and she sees a piece of paper or like some pages on the floor, picks it up, decides to read it. It seems to be a script almost about her life, and not long after that, whatever was written in the script actually turns to be true and happen in real life. Then the next following days, the pages keep appearing, and she keeps reading about what's going to happen to her, and then I'm assuming it's how you're going to take your life and your future in your own hands. And but I also just like that it sounds like a contemporary book, perhaps romance, I'm not actually quite sure, but with a dash of speculative, and that's just, I'm all over that. Not sure about. This one could be a miss, because it is even more rogue than some other choices here. But it sounded promising, so I thought I'll give it a go. Now this is a special edition that has arrived and actually suits the least out of all of the books that I'm showing to you for autumn, even though I think Studio Ghibli films are very cozy. I think this one just screams spring. But because I got it, I thought I'll show you either way. This is a Fairy Loot edition of Howl's Moving Castle. We have holographic foil on the cover with this beautiful cover, as well as this edge. These are the end papers. This is the hardback. This is the back of it, as well as a reverse dust jacket. I love Howl's Moving Castle, but I have actually heard that the book itself is quite different. I feel like I don't really need to introduce Howl's Moving Castle. I'm quite intrigued to hear from you guys how different it is, like what makes it so different. Is the plot completely different? Are the characters different? Let me know. But beautiful edition, happy to have it. Okay, next one is an itty-bitty version of this book. Honestly, this cost me 14 British pounds, and when it arrived and I saw how small it is, I felt a little bit robbed, not gonna lie. It felt like a daylight robbery. That's of course on me for not checking how, like, I knew this was a novella, I don't know, it just feels so small holding it. Perhaps it was the very no name, or I don't know. But this is by the author who wrote If We Were Villains. If We Were Villains is of course very beloved in dark academia spaces especially. People often name that as their main dark academia love. I have read that one. I didn't love it as much as other people did, but I am very intrigued to see what the author writes now. And because this is smaller as well, I feel like that's a good kind of indicator. If I love this, then maybe it was some of the book and some of the plot, because I didn't hate it, but I just didn't get the hype, I feel. Quite boring in places for me. But it does have its charm, I guess. So I'm willing to give it another go, and I feel like a novella is a really good way to go. But I can't take full credit because this was actually voted by Patreon, so we're reading this as our October book club, which is probably the shortest book club we've ever done for a book, but I'm excited to see what we think. And honestly, I would tell you what this is about, but I won't, because it is that short. Selfishly, I really just don't want to know myself, so I'm really sorry for being so uninformative, but if you didn't know that the author came out with something new, then now you do. And this next thing is a second volume of a manga that I've just read for Magical Readathon, and it is Drcl, which is like Dracula shortened. It is a very odd one to explain, so I don't think that I can, but it is, set in olden England. We follow some cast from the school, but really quickly a lot of bizarre things are happening, and obviously like Dracula in a sense gets involved. But it is so bizarre, and it is very hard to follow plot-wise, but it's so visually stunning and still very intriguing that I couldn't help but continue. So I actually really, really like the first one, so I'm very happy to have the second one. I don't want to leave too long and then I forget about it, and not that I can really even recap it for you, because again, plot-wise, bizarre. I really thought for a second maybe it was just me, but then I looked at some other reviews and other people are feeling the same way. So I don't think it's just me, which is good, reassuring. But beautiful, beautiful art. Disturbing, definitely gory, so I wouldn't recommend if you don't like those type of things. And it's disturbing is the word. But I'm very excited to have the second volume, and I'm hoping to actually read it this month to see if that stays true. Now, this next book, I believe, is one of the most read in our Magical Readathon Autumn Equinox, and not only that, but also really highly regarded. People seem to have named it as their favorite book a lot. And before this one of the book club picks for one of the guilds, I didn't even know about it. I feel now I feel like it's everywhere and it's like haunting me. So because I feel like I'm being haunted, which is also very autumnal of me, I thought I will give it a go. So a main character has a sidekick, was it sentient spider plant? And she works in this library. It gets set on fire, and so they gather whatever books they can save and then flee to her birth town, which she finds in disarray. And then there's also, you know, very handsome but very annoying neighbor as well. So we have some romance brewing there as well, and it's supposed to be a very cozy fantasy. I do believe this is an author I've read from before, a very long time ago now. Excited about it because I feel like I've heard so many great things. Cozy is not always my favorite kind of genre, but it can be brilliant, so I am quite excited about it. I'm excited. Also, the fact that there is, you know, sentient plants and very cute pets involved, I'm very, very down for that. So also let me know if you have read this and you've enjoyed it, because I would then adjust accordingly. But also quite autumnal setup, I feel, on the thing. Even though that's definitely spring or summer. Something about it speaks to me. And then the last book in this haul is by the author of Truly Devious, which someone explained to me. I have Truly Devious. I have not read it. So what gives me the right to purchase this book without knowing, you know, without trying the one that... Anyway, doesn't matter. New release. So here we are. It's called Death at Morning House. I really like the cover. It definitely speaks very autumn murder mystery. This is about a house sitter, and she then gets this gig at this house and gives tours to people, but there's like murders, and that's pretty much about all that I know about this. The synopsis I remember was giving some sass, and I quite enjoyed that, so I kind of almost expected to be a little bit humorous on the side of the murder. So maybe this is going to have kind of only murders in the building vibes. I've only seen like some of the first season though, so maybe not the best judge either. But this is another one that I feel like this could be a good easy read in between some like a palate cleanser almost. And sometimes I do really just like the kind of YA murder mystery, like Good Girl's Guide to Murder, that really has been so much fun. Let me know if you are picking anything up from this, if you're checking any of these books out, and if you have already maybe read them, let me know what you thought, because I always really appreciate your thoughts. I think that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Happy autumn. Bye.